Hi, everyone. Anne O'Connell with OC Publishing here, and welcome to this week's Author Journey. I'm so excited to be back. We had a little bit of a break over the holidays. We came back last week with a bang with crime writer Pamela Callow, and we just keep on going with the momentum. And I'm really happy to share with you that today's author, it's a debut author, and it's Mark Shupe, and he is the author of this beauty, The Wish Doctor. And boy, it's quite an imaginative romp through a fantasy realm and some exciting places that I'll let him tell you about it. But before I bring him up, I'm going to introduce him to you. Mark Shupe says that every year on his birthday since he was 12, Mark had made a wish that someday he would share his overactive imagination through his writing. On the outside, Mark looks like an everyday accounting clerk who has eaten too much pasta and forgotten to take his anti-hairline receding medicine. But on the inside, he is a raging cyclone of imagination, romance, angst, and awkward jokes. He never tires of his wife saying, "That's not funny," amongst other things, and he dreams of someday becoming Santa Claus. I love that. He's not sure whether he's more comfortable atop a mountain peak, a beach at high tide, inside a Van Gogh painting, or browsing the shelves of a comic book shop. He's in all those places more frequently than his salary would allow. As a Bachelor of Journalism graduate, Mark gave up a career as a sports writer. He hosted an international TV show, Running, to write edgy and tightly worded audit reports for a ginormous corporation. He and the famous author Lana Shupe live in Calgary, where he has just finished walking all 15,000 kilometers of the streets of the third most livable city in the world. And if you Google Mark, that's one of the first things that comes up is some of the media surrounding that incredible walk. We're going to ask him a little bit about that. And so I'm going to bring him up to join me and delve into this amazing world of the Wish Doctor. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Anne, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very good. I got my wish watch with me, but I got to put it down because it gets heavy.
That's beautiful. I am so excited to finally have you on the author journey. We've been talking about this for a little while, haven't we?
Yes.
And as it says in your bio, your household is quite a creative place to live.
Yeah, well, I'm married to the famous writer Lana Shupe, so there's all kinds of storytelling going on all the time. Some of it's true, some of it's not.
And I bet you that she is watching, and here she says, "Yeah, me too." And we have Veronica Heinen is watching as well. Excited to hear Mark. So I want to remind people as we're chatting, if you have questions for Mark or myself, fire them into the comments and we'll get to them. But let's jump right into this. I'm so excited. You have recently retired, Mark, and you've taken on this new mantle. Like, how did that transition occur?
Well, I've always wanted to be a writer. It was really the only thing I ever wanted to do. But I had an opportunity in business, and that led me into a long business career. And I was always trying to write in the background, and I was working on a major fantasy series, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I really just finished it as I got close to retirement. And then I realized that nobody's buying a major fantasy series from a new author, 600-page volumes. So I wanted to do something different. And I had a couple of heart attacks, and it made me really relook at things. And I was in a position where I think I better retire. And I also got to get, the children ready for, if I pass on. So it was really about this idea of
That's heavy.
passing on responsibility from one generation to another, which is the key theme from The Wish Doctor, which is he's had this burden of responsibility for so long of fighting all the bad spirits in the world to make wishes go wrong, and he couldn't do it anymore. And so he had to find a replacement. And so that was very much my story, but it's told as an allegory. And of course, the Wish Doctor opens the School of Wish and recruits 20 very extraordinary but weird individuals. And he's made a wish that one will take over his responsibilities. So
Oh, we love extraordinary and weird. That's my favorite thing. And I mean, that's a really wow, that's pretty heavy, Mark. But to turn, that those scary times, after your heart attack into things that are just so inspiring and uplifting. And I just while we're chatting, I want to just show people, like I said, when you Google Mark, this is one of the first things that comes up in my Google search. I know, people in different places of the world with different search histories come up with different things. But, how did that, while you were walking, I know when I'm walking, that's when some of my best ideas come to me. How much writing did you do in your head while you were doing this amazing walk?
A lot.
Yeah?
A lot of The Wish Doctor came from those walks, and about 4 other books,
Mhm.
that I'm working on sporadically, all came from those walks, right? And it
Okay,
seems
all
the
right.
faster I go on the walk, the more ideas that come into my head. It's
What is it that spurs the is it like the ideas make you go faster or walking faster brings more ideas, or is it kind of a
it's kinda interactive. Yeah, it
both
kinda
ways?
goes yeah, it kinda goes but you get the endorphins going if you get fast
Yeah.
enough. I throw a little bit of running in there, so it kinda gets my creative
Wow.
juices,
And how's the
flowing.
heart now?
I
Hopefully nice
actually
and strong?
really good. I've got a problem with my arteries that, they told me unless I get hit by a bus, I'm gonna die of a heart attack. So,
What a
I
terrible
kinda
thing to say.
well, I kinda know what my fate is, but it's been actually pretty good because
Good.
I know that I'm not going to live through like a terrible Alzheimer's disease or a long bout with cancer because the heart will get me first. So, but it's kind of freed me up to say, okay, let's live every moment that we can
Mhm.
that I can,
Mhm.
as as fun and as meaningful as possible. And that was
Mhm.
kind of injected into the Wish Doctor, although it's like a serious thing about having to turn over the responsibility. But he
Yeah.
says in one part of the book, no matter how serious things you've got to keep your sense of humor around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Wish Doctor does have a sense of humor, and so do his friends. And so
Yeah.
trying to keep that sense of humor throughout the book balances out the serious
The
tone. I want to
toughness.
go
Yeah.
back. I want to go back and read some of the chapters. I go, yeah, there's actually a lot more humor in this. And
Yes. And I wanna just, right, you have some really awesome, like, early reader quotes, and, Vernon Oikel, who's also an author, says, "If imagination ran wild and whisked you away to some mystical, magical realm, you would have Mark Shupe's debut novel. Full of whimsy and fancy, The Wish Doctor, with its imaginative descriptions, captivating characters, and colorful locations, grabs readers' attention from the first chapter. An intricately woven story that is sure to appeal to readers young and old. Move over Harry Potter, The Wish Doctor is here." I mean, I loved the Harry Potter books, and so really was, drawn into The Wish Doctor. And to have somebody specifically compare this to, and there's a magical school, but they're not necessarily magicians. Talk a little bit about what it takes to be a wish doctor.
Well, it takes a lot of self-discipline is probably the most important thing because, if you know how to make wishes and you make selfish wishes, those are the ones that are most likely going to go wrong. So the
Mhm.
wishes that are most likely to come true are when you're trying to help somebody else.
Mhm.
And of course, if you wish in a wishing well, that's one of the most powerful wishes because you can make somebody else become well. But if you try to use it for a selfish person, it becomes problematic. So self-discipline and the care of others really makes it important to be a wish doctor because when one of the lead characters, Alma, and her brother come to the School of Wish initially, their mother wants the brother, who's the older, to join the School of Wish. And the
Mhm.
wish doctor essentially interviews him and realizes he's got a little bit of a selfish streak, while his sister is a little bit more self-disciplined
A little
and
more
more willing,
pure-hearted.
yeah, and willing
Mhm.
to make sacrifices. So she makes him a better student character for to
Mhm.
become the wish doctor. But sometimes you don't know because and I don't want to get too much into it, but there's
No
a
spoilers.
surprise. There's a prize in the second book around who steps up, who in the first book may seem like they weren't supposed to be in the School of Wish in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that's part of an arc of character redemption and growth right
Oh, I
through
love it. I
through
love those themes. And I just want to give a shout out to folks who have jumped on since we started. Oh, and Lana says, I don't know anyone else who embraces life like Mark Shupe does. He's my hero, both literally and literally. Your allies in this literary world. I love that. Um, and Veronica says, keep the ideas coming for the pathway walks. I love that too. And Angela Rose Sampson has also joined us. Hi, Angela. Nice to see you. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the not just the theme, because there's some those themes that you addressed, they're pretty hefty, for a middle grade, but I'm thinking it leans more a little bit into the YA. But the language, there's very sophisticated language, which is great because you want kids who are reading to have that reach, right? But what I also love about it is that parents, I think, are going to be drawn to it. Parents of middle schoolers, or new adult YA, because there are references to like our generation of music, and references to historical things that you know myself, like, I jigged onto right away, but may or may not be caught by a younger reader, but which is also very typical in the Harry Potter books. I mean, was that intentional? Was that just sort of your voice coming across,
No, no,
walking home?
it was very intentional. One thing that Lan and I did with our kids as they were growing up, we never talked down to them. There was never any baby talk. I mean,
Mhm.
when they were 6 or 7, I'd be telling them, political stories, or, the history of the Roman Empire, or
Yeah,
history, or be lecturing on the Magna Carta. Uh,
dressed up as a Roman soldier, right?
yes.
I can just picture that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at least one of I used to like to dress up and love to dress up in costumes from a very young age, and at least one of our kids likes to do that as well. But I really wanted to. It was really supposed to be a dialogue because I wanted something that I would enjoy myself, but also something I could talk to my kids or my nieces and nephews
Mhm.
and have that dialogue generation. So I intentionally put jokes in it that would be for the adults, and there's some jokes there that are just for the kids. And somebody picked up on that. A young person said, well, they were fascinated by the reference to Fortnite, right? Which maybe in a lot of
Mm.
adults might not necessarily know.
Mhm.
So I kind of joke, like, if you're a young person, you'll get 50% of the jokes. And if you're an old person, you'll get 50% of the jokes. And if you get together, you might get 84% of the jokes in the book. And I'm intending to write what I call the pundex, which
Oh,
has which takes all the jokes and explains the references. Somebody was asking me about that the other day, and I said, no, that was fully intended. And a
intended.
number of people said that it's good for reading aloud as a
Mhm.
family.
Mhm.
And I've
Mhm.
when I wrote it, I did read it all aloud to make sure that it flowed well. If
Mhm.
you were, and that wasn't the main intent, but
Mhm.
and then there is on the Moose House site, which is the publisher, there is a
Mhm.
reading by the editor is also a master thespian, which is a fancy name for actor. I found that out the other
I love that.
day.
Yeah.
And he does an extraordinary reading of the first chapter, and I'm going, or the first part of a chapter that's called uh, "The Island of Misfit Toys," and he's got the
I
right
love that.
mix of the seriousness and humor, right down to the singing of one of the funny songs that's in that chapter.
Oh, that's funny. Do you have an excerpt that you might read for us today from the book?
Um, I could probably pull one up uh, really
I would
quickly here.
just spring that on people.
Um, I just have to look here a little bit. Ask me another question while I stall
While
on.
you're looking. Well, when you said you were actually a sports writer way back, how did you get from being a sports writer to, a corporate accountant person?
Well, I ended up working for a small business that was going to franchise, and I thought
Mhm.
I would grow with them, and it didn't work out. And it seemed to be that there was some issues with accounting, so I better learn some accounting. And I took an accounting course, and
Oh.
unfortunately, I was good at it, so that ended up uh, leading me to spend quite a bit of time in accounting. I did my CA,
Mhm.
um, and I went on and did my MBA, and then that just naturally ended up going into business.
Mm. Wow. But you know what? After a very hopefully fulfilling career, that's behind you. The corporate world is behind, and now you've opened up a whole new avenue. I think this is really exciting. Very
Yeah, I'm
exciting.
really, I'm really quite, I'm really quite enjoying uh, the writing, and the
Mm.
writing community, particularly in Nova Scotia, is so friendly and so supportive, and the amount of
And there's
cool material that's being written
And
in
there's always so much going
Nova.
on, right?
Yeah,
And I think I want to just go up back here, and I think yes, our friend Sue Slade from Dartmouth Book Exchange has also joined in. Thanks for hopping on here. We got all kinds of people watching, Mark. This is very exciting. So,
okay, let me.
look,
I'll read you from a chapter that's called "The Danger of Birthdays,"
perfect. Okay, you take it away.
and this is the Wish Doctor's ninth lesson. A birthday wish is almost always useless unless you want to invite trouble. It is the single type of wish most likely to go wrong. Why? Christian asked. I make birthday wishes all the time. The wish doctor shook his head. I'm well aware of that. It's why the true color of your face is purple and why you have always termites in your pants. The other students laughed. They thought he was joking. To get a birthday wish right, to make it so that the language is airtight, that nothing can go wrong, to overcome a grantor's desire to make the wish go wrong, is almost impossible. Since a birthday wish is yoked to the turn of time, it can rarely be used or boosted in conjunction with a pure wish, making it more difficult to use, or used without something going wrong. Yet, even so, a birthday wish sometimes may be your only way to solve a problem. Everyone has a set of birthday wishes, and though you may give them away, no one may take them. In an emergency, if you know how, you may borrow a birthday wish from the future, as long as it is in a year in which you will still be alive. To make a birthday wish takes great effort. If you can do that, you can make almost any wish work. You must use the principles I will discuss with you now in making most wishes, but most certainly for birthday wishes. But first, I have to make you promise one thing. He looked around the class with the most serious expressions the students had yet seen upon his face. You must promise me you will not make a birthday wish until you have entered the fourth year of the course, and then only with my blessing. We cannot continue until you promise me this. Raise both hands if you agree. The students did slowly. The doctor took a deep breath and called for all eyes to look upon him and all ears to hear. If ever any one of them were to learn enough to be his replacement, they must learn this lesson. To make a wish happen, you must never, ever have just one wish to use. At minimum, you need 9 wishes. 9 wishes, so maybe you can make one come true without disastrous circumstances. Use the first 3 wishes as protection wishes to protect the actual wish you make. Use them to guard against misinterpretation, whether willful or unwillful. The last 3 wishes are mitigation wishes, wishes to make sure that another wish doesn't come along and undo the wish you made. The power of magic is always in flux and seeks to find balance. An unprotected wish may seem okay today, but other wishes will seek to undo what you have done. Unless you mitigate your wish, it will be undone. The fifth wish is usually the best wish to be your actual wish, but you must know the nature of the grantor. There are some who just detest the fifth wish. If it is a wish using natural forces, then 5 is the best because nature favors the number 5. The doctor held up his left hand, spreading out his 5 fingers. Use the 4th wish to protect that the wish does not later become unbearable. We call this the Midas protection. The 6th wish is a wish that allows you to reverse the wish you just made in case something went wrong. We call this the escape wish. Your studies over the next year will be difficult, let me warn you. You need to learn how to harness the power of 9 wishes to make a wish to help undo a wish that has gone wrong, and rarely for the pure benefit of the wish itself. Most of you won't be able to do it. Most of you will be sent home. But maybe 1 or 2 of you will learn to do it and granted tuition for a 2nd year. I wish you well, said the wish doctor. So that's the danger of birthdays.
Right. Oh my goodness. And you know what? It brings to mind that saying, "Be careful what you wish for." Right.
Yes.
So I love that. Oftentimes, um, when you wish for something, that if it comes true, you're like, "Oh, that's really exciting." But if something opposite or the dark side of the wish does, you don't really, compare it or think about, it might have been a wish gone wrong. Because, I'm
Right.
all about like magic and things. And I also want to say, for those of you who um, see any advertising or promotions, if Mark is out and about or doing book readings, you could luck into a wish rock. I'm going to share with you when when I got my copy of The Wish Doctor was when Mark was at the Fantastic Grown Up Book Fair. Yay! And there's a little card that comes with your rock, and you choose your rock from a different location. So talk a little bit about that, Mark. And I'm assuming, or I understand that you've been to all the locations, right?
Yeah, so you can get wish rocks from the standing stones of Callanish. These stones are 2,000 years older than Stonehenge. There's the Outer Hebrides. There's the Troll Mountains of Norway. There's a couple from Camelot, a couple from Brigadoon. I'm all sold out of Middle Earth, Isle of Skye, and
My choice was
a
very
rare
difficult.
few,
Oh,
a rare
oh,
few,
ooh.
a rare few
Ooh.
coughed up from the gizzard of the Loch Ness monster and washed ashore on Loch Ness. And so they're kept in a magic box here. These are some of the most powerful wish rocks you can get.
I love magic. So I really had a hard time choosing because, all of those places resonated, but I chose the one from the Isle of Skye. But I'm not going to say why. That will become obvious maybe in a couple months' time as we talk about some new books coming out from OC Publishing. But this is my special wish rock and my wish doctor card that I will keep in a very safe place. So, which one is your favorite wish rock?
I'm partial to the ones at Loch Ness, but also the Callanish standing stones because we've done I did a bit
Mm,
of a promo video there, which turned out
I love that. Oh my
turned out,
gosh.
turned out
And
pretty
where
good.
can
But
somebody see that video? Because that is really a cool video on your
we
probably
are
on your Facebook.
not yet.
No, okay.
We did um, a reveal of it at the last couple of signing events. We're going to post it on TikTok
Okay.
early next week.
Okay. So just a reminder again, Mark on TikTok is at Shuperdad. So start following him now, and then you'll see all the exciting promos that he's been working on.
Hey, and just to go back to wishes that go wrong, just a couple,
Yes.
just a couple examples. One is like, and these are in the book. If you wish to be a better person, but you're not very careful, and you say you wish to be a butter person, you can imagine what could happen. Your skin will start to turn the color of margarine, and your arteries will start to harden. So if you make a wish like that, you better go see the wish doctor right away so you can get fixed. Or
It's
if
so
you
true.
or if you go wish to have like a fancy car, a sports car like a Shelby Mustang that's all supervised, souped up, but you forget to wish for good financing at the same time,
Right.
you might end up.
Yes,
You have to
it's
be very
all
careful
about
with
being
wishes you make.
specific. Or if you don't say, like a real live one, you might wind up with like a little dinky toy, right?
Yes,
Right? Yeah.
yes, yeah. Well,
You can go vroom, vroom.
that's why we have the wish watch, so we can keep track of all the wishes that go wrong.
And the other thing, like we talked a little bit about the whole, handing off the baton and, you get to a point in life where you're like, okay, I'm finished doing this and I'm moving on to the next stage, or I just want to travel. But the wish doctor not only has spent a long time doing what he's been doing, but he's an old guy,
Yeah, yeah, he's over 500 years old.
right? So no wonder
He's
he's tired and worn out.
Yeah, yeah. And you'll find out in the book that he's actually been tricked into the position, and that picks up a lot in the second book. But yeah, it's been he's trying to have fun because if he doesn't, he'll be overpowered by the burden. So he likes to make his sense of humor. He likes to make puns as he goes
Yes.
along.
Nothing like you though, right?
No, not at
So
all. Not at all.
Lana is wanting you to share any teasers for book 2. So book 2, The Wishing Hour, is in the works, as I
Yes.
understand it. And have you got any, just a little like synopsis? I know it's a continuation. So I guess my question is, do you recommend that people read the first one first?
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely it's the journey of how that responsibility ultimately turns over from the wish doctor to the
Okay.
students, and the person that ultimately takes over for him
Mm-hmm.
um, is is uh, is going to be a surprise, I think,
Mm-hmm.
at the end. The second book, we dig into the back history a little bit more of the Wish Doctor, how he
Okay.
became the Wish Doctor, and the Wish Doctor. It's hinted at in the book that the Wish Doctor does something that ticks off one of the main, very powerful characters who was an ally in the first book, and that forms a bit of the confrontation, and
Uh-huh.
then we learn more about the students, and Alma's brother makes a very surprising appearance, and what has happened
Mm.
to him, which is hinted in the last page. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so there's going to be lots of stuff happening in the wishing hour for sure.
Oh, excellent. So do you recommend that some people keep their own dictionary beside them as they're reading?
I don't think there's that
No,
many
I'm
people
joking.
that say it. Uh, but it's more, yeah, I'll have to get the pun decks up there for some folks to.
I love the Pundex idea. And you also on your Facebook page, there's a lot of interaction and requests for sharing. And there you had a question about an Elvis tune that is referred to, but not specifically. And I thought I was the first one to get it right, but I was wrong.
Well, there's all kinds of tricks, and when I'm signing books, I'm leaving a special coded number, and that's going to be part of a prize package for the second book.
I'm just going to do it quickly. So it's in there. I'm not
Yeah,
sharing my number though.
those are all secret numbers.
Okay, excellent. And Shonda Cervello has joined us, and she says, we're all very lucky you decided to focus on writing and looking forward to more books. How
Wow,
nice is that?
very
So
good.
again, if people want to find you, going to put that information up and then one last time. And do you have any advice for people out there who might want to wish upon a star?
Uh, be very, very careful, and don't make selfless wishes. There's a scene late in the book
Selfish.
where the doctor is in a pretty crisis situation, and his arch enemy has made a wish that causes him a bit of trouble, and he's trying to get the students to help him out of it. And he says, this is a lesson I was going to say for last year, but you need it, or next year, but you need to know this now. If you're going to make a wish, if it's within the realm of possibility, then it's more likely to come true. So if you're a waiter or a waitress at a restaurant and you want to become the host or the hostess of the restaurant, that's a wish that's very plausible. So that's a wish
Mhm.
that come true. But if you wanted to make a wish to understand the lyrics, say, of Cardi B, the rap singer, which is almost impossible to do, that wish is likely to have catastrophic problems. So if you're making a wish, make sure that it's within the realm of possibility. And also you have to come to the school of wish and learn how to make the 9 wishes uh, uh,
Excellent.
properly. And the last thing is to remember is if you're going to reverse a wish, you need to know how to say wish backwards. And the interesting thing is, and you can try this by recording the word wish and playing backwards, but it caught me off guard, but it's absolutely true. If you say wish backwards, it makes the sound shoop. I kid you not. And if you say it the other way, if you say shoop and you play it backwards, it makes the sound wish. So in
Wow.
some way, I guess I was fated to write this silly little book because I've always wondered what my last name meant, and
I love
apparently
it.
it means wish.
Well, do you know what? There are powers that work like in realms that we're not privy to. So I think that's really cool. And I appreciate your time, Mark, and so excited about the launch of your book. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And do you have any more signings coming up?
We've got we're booking out into the summer now.
Excellent.
We're going to be at LaHave River Books. Lana and I are going to start doing some joint signings
Nice.
because she's got 2 books coming out this year,
We'll get her
and
back on.
we're going to be in Parsboro at Victory Books on August 10th, and we're just tentatively getting some other signings and such set up, and
Excellent.
we'll be doing a couple in Calgary as well.
Great. We love Vickery House Books in Parsboro. So that's awesome. And come summer, why don't we get both you and Lana back on here and we can do the dynamic duo. Wouldn't that be fun?
Sounds great.
Sounds great. Well, thanks again, Mark, for joining us on the Author Journey today. And best of luck with the rest of your launch. And everybody, make sure you pick up a copy of The Wish Doctor.
And by the way, Ron says hi. He
Oh, hey.
he got a little excited today and lost his head, but
Oh, he's been behind you. Hi, Ron. Thanks for joining us. At least your head, anyway. And away we go. And thank you all for watching the Author Journey this week. I'm Anne O'Connell, wishing you happy reading and writing, and we'll see you next time on the Author Journey.